Ever walked into a shop and felt like you snagged an amazing deal? What if I told you that feeling might have been carefully engineered? Today, we're diving deep into a fascinating story that reveals a common, yet clever, sales trick. It's a story about a bag, two sellers, and a customer who thought she was the smartest person in the room. But stick around, because what this story reveals about business, ethics, human psychology, and faith is something you won't want to miss. Imagine a small, cozy miscellaneous shop, the kind filled with unique finds. A lady walks in, her eyes set on a stylish bag. It looks great, it feels premium. In reality, the bag's cost price, its true value, is just $200. But the shopkeepers have a little game they like to play. As the lady browses, the first seller, let's call him Ali, is at the counter. The second seller, let's call him Omar, is in the back. The lady picks up the bag and asks Ali for the price. This is where the performance begins. Ali shouts to Omar in the back, "Hey Omar, how much for this bag?" Omar, playing his part, yells back a deliberately inflated price. That one, $520. The number hangs in the air, high and loud, for the customer to clearly hear it's more than double the bag's actual worth. But here comes the crucial move. Ollie turns back to the lady, a slightly conspiratorial smile on his face, and says, "He said 420. Now, let's pause and get inside the customer's head. What just happened? She heard the price 520 from the second seller. Now, the first seller is offering it to her for 420, a full 100 less. Her immediate thought is, wow, what a bargain. The first seller must have misheard, or maybe he's giving me a special discount. She feels a rush of excitement, a sense of luck. She believes she's stumbled upon a golden opportunity. Does she question it? Does she say, wait, I thought I heard 520. No. Why would she? From her perspective, pointing out the mistake would only make the price go up. So she quickly agrees. 420, I'll take it. She pays the money, feeling incredibly pleased with her purchase. She walks out of the shop with her new bag, a smile on her face, convinced she just got the deal of a lifetime. But there's another layer to this. The lady doesn't just feel lucky. She also feels clever. She thinks she outsmarted the system. In her mind, she was in on a secret. She knew the real price was 520, and by staying quiet, she managed to get it for 420. She believes she pulled a fast one on the sellers, taking advantage of their miscommunication. She feels like a savvy negotiator, a sharp shopper who knows how to play the game. She's happy with her bag, and she's happy with herself. But what really happened here? Let's break it down. The entire scene was a carefully staged act. There was no missing, there was no mistake. Ollie and Omar had this routine perfected. Omar's shout of 520 was the anchor, designed to set an artificially high price in the customer's mind. Ollie's misheard price of 420 wasn't a mistake. It was the real trap. It was still more than double the bag's actual 200 price, guaranteeing the shop a massive profit. The customer's feeling of getting a bargain was an illusion. Her feeling of being clever was a side effect of the deception. She wasn't outsmarting anyone. She was the target of a psychological trick. She was so focused on the 100 she saved from the fake high price that she never stopped to consider the actual value of the bag. The sellers manipulated her perception of value, and she willingly walked into their trap, feeling good about it the entire time. This type of deception is known as the good cop, bad cop pricing strategy, or a variation of price anchoring. It's incredibly effective because it plays on our desire for a good deal and our tendency to feel smart when we think we've found a loophole. The sellers created a narrative where the customer felt like the hero, when in reality, she was just another character in their script. Now, let's look at this scenario from an Islamic perspective, which offers profound wisdom on trade and ethics. In Islam, any transaction must be built on a foundation of honesty, transparency, and mutual consent free from deceit. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a merchant himself, and he set the highest standards for business conduct. He said the seller and the buyer have the right to keep or return goods as long as they have not parted. And if they spoke the truth and described the defects, then they would be blessed in their transaction. And if they told lies and hid something, their transaction would be deprived of its blessing. This hadith is crystal clear. Honesty is not just a good policy, it is a prerequisite for blessings in business. What Ali and Omar did was the exact opposite. They told lies. They hid the true value and created a false narrative to trick the customer into paying more. Their transaction was built on a deliberate deception, known in Arabic as ghish, which means cheating or fraud. Even though the customer left happy, the transaction is considered impermissible or haram. Why? Because the happiness she felt was based on a lie. Her consent to buy the bag for 420 was not fully informed. It was manipulated. In Islam, the process matters just as much as the outcome. A deal that makes someone feel good through trickery is not an ethical deal. Furthermore, the lady herself, by thinking she was outsmarting the seller and hiding the truth of the 520 price, was also participating in what she believed was a deceptive act. While she was the victim, her intention was to take advantage of a perceived mistake. Islam encourages us to be upright and honest in all our dealings, not to look for loopholes or ways to trick others, even if we think they are trying to trick us. Two wrongs don't make a right. The core lesson here is profound. True success and blessings, what we call barakah, come from sincerity and fairness. A business built on clever tricks might make a quick profit, but it lacks barakah. The money earned through such means will not bring true contentment or lasting good. It's like building a house on a weak foundation. It may look good for a while, but it's destined to crumble. So, what can we learn from this as consumers? First, always be mindful. When a deal seems too good to be true, take a moment to pause and think. Don't let the excitement of a bargain rush you into a decision. The sellers in our story counted on the customer's emotional reaction to bypass her rational judgment. Second, try to get a sense of the real value of what you're buying. In today's world, you can often research prices online or compare them in different stores. A little bit of homework can save you from being overcharged. If you're in a market, don't be afraid to ask questions or even walk away. A fair seller will be transparent with you. Third, let's reflect on our own intentions. We should always aim to be honest buyers, just as we expect sellers to be honest. The goal of a transaction should be a fair exchange of value, not a game of who can outsmart whom. The satisfaction that comes from a fair and transparent deal is much deeper and more lasting than the fleeting thrill of a clever purchase based on a shaky premise. This story isn't just about shopping. It's a metaphor for how we should approach all our interactions in life. Islam teaches us that honesty is not just for the mosque. It's for the marketplace, the workplace, and the home. It is the foundation for a successful life, not just in the hereafter, but in every aspect of our worldly existence. When we build our lives on the principles of truthfulness and integrity, we invite blessings and contentment that no amount of cleverly earned money can buy. Let's strive to be people of integrity, whether we are buying, selling, or simply interacting with others. Let's be the ones who bring honesty and transparency into the world, creating an environment of trust rather than suspicion. Because in the end, the only way that leads to true, lasting success in this life and the next is the straight path, the path of righteousness and honesty. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive. I hope this story gave you something valuable to think about. If it did, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content that explores life through the lens of faith and wisdom. Let me know in the comments if you've ever encountered a situation like this. Until next time, stay mindful and stay blessed.